I hate self-help, which is why I fucking hate getting all Tony Robbins with you guys, but I have to make this one video. It's going to fix your entire life. It did mine. Let's get into it. You believe you are unhappy because you're not as successful as you'd like to be. There might be other reasons, but the point of this channel is success, hence why you're watching this video. But the reason you are actually unhappy and suffering, and the reason why you're not successful as you want to be, is because you're trying to be happy. And no, I'm not about to go on some Andrew Tate, get on the suffer bus, or some Goggins self-help, be unhappy and hate your life the entire time to be successful kind of mantra. That's stupid, not helpful. I promise you by the end of this video, all the unhappiness that you're feeling about your current level of success or where you are in life right now will just be gone, and you'll be much more successful. So you'll be good and making more progress towards whatever shit you want to do if you just listen to me for the next 10 minutes. Doing this has allowed me to make hundreds of millions of dollars while not being upset and suffering the entire time like everyone on YouTube loves to brag about. I'm generally pretty good all the time. You can be too. This will also fix everything else you're looking to do, whether it's getting a six-pack, talk to girls, get your head under control, be successful, whatever you want to do. I'm gonna stop telling you about it. Let me just explain it. See, the entire crux of this problem is society's definition of what happiness is. Because of this definition, not only are people constantly ruining themselves and making themselves extremely unhappy all the time by trying to always be happy, but they are also thinking that you have to suffer and live some terrible, bad life and sacrifice everything for their goals. No, you don't have to do any of that. You just have to understand the definition for happiness is fucked up. Society's really messed it up, and it's just made us all brain damaged retards about the way we go about pursuing life. See, what people describe happiness as, and what society describes happiness as, is actually euphoria. Think about it. When was the last time you were happy? When was your peak happiness? If you're like most people, it's some crazy euphoric moment in your life, or when you were high or really, really drunk, or playing video games. It was 1 a.m. A lot of people look back when they were kids playing video games at 1 a.m. with all their friends, trolling around in World of Warcraft. It's some really, really high point, aka euphoria. And see, you're describing happiness incorrectly, because what most people try to do with their life is they focus on being happy. But the problem is they're not trying to be happy, they're trying to be chronically euphoric. And this is where the entire problem comes from. Because when you use euphoria as your definition for happiness, which essentially everybody does, you have set the goal to an impossibly high standard that can only be achieved through unimaginable highs inflicted by some crazy, very rare life experience, or induced chemically or through manipulation. See, compared to these euphoric moments in your life, life is very boring. If you look at a well-lived life, let's say you live it perfectly and you're not doing heroin 24/7, you're mostly going to be fine most of the time. You're going to be bored a lot of the time. Life compared to those high moments in your life is boring. Life compared to playing a video game is boring. Life compared to drinking is very boring. Life compared to having sex is very boring. It's boring. It's just what it fucking is. And the problem, the entire issue with everyone in society right now is they think that the point of life is being happy. But instead, what they're actually confusing it with is, again, euphoria. So they think because they're not euphoric all the time, because they're not deliriously happy, they are then sad. And thus something must be done to fix it. You must get out of this state of unhappiness, which is actually lack of euphoria. And the entire problem unravels from there. And then it creates another layer of bad, because what people are describing fine as is sadness or not being happy. So if you're just sitting around bored, you're unhappy. You're not having a good life. But then what people start to do is they start doing things that separate them from having a good life, which is success, health, productivity, mental well-being. They do a bunch of things that separate them from this so that they can become happy, which for the rest of this video, I want you to understand when I say happy, I mean euphoric, which is a bullshit level of delirious happiness that we think we have to be experiencing 24/7. And that we're chronically pursuing. You're at work, you're working. Oh, it's so boring. It's not fun here. I'm sad. This isn't good. I hate my job. I can't wait to go home and play World of Warcraft or video games or eat ice cream or whatever the fuck weird shit you guys do alone in your studio apartments. Or fuck it. I know my viewers. You guys are watching from your mom's basement. I can see the dungeon now, crusty socks in the corner, walls painted with hentai posters. It's my life mission on this channel to get you guys the fuck out of there. You gotta stop living under the staircase like Harry Potter and talking to dudes pretending to be girls on OnlyFans. I'm here to save you. Trust me. Don't worry. But you think when you're doing a normal day-to-day thing like working, you're having a bad time, you hate this part of your life because you have to go home to play or do whatever thing you're going to do that gives you euphoria. So thus you're in pain unless you're in this euphoric state. Unless I'm playing Monster Hunter, unless I have a subtle buzz, I'm unhappy. And this is most people. I've even been there. Every weekend you're working, working, working. It's boring. You think, well, I just can't wait till the weekend when I can be happy again and go get drunk with the boys or go party. And then suddenly all the stuff you're doing during the week isn't fun. And how you define your life and why you go and destroy yourself every weekend is to be happy, aka euphoric. Do you see where the problem starts to come from? Because everything that makes your life better and makes your life good becomes painful in comparison to this bar that we've set, which is actually euphoria. If you're starting to grasp this, now this is where it gets a little bit deeper. This is where you can actually start to apply what we're looking at right here and see how fucked up the way everyone lives is. So if you're in America or whatever, everybody defines happiness again as euphoria. And so two really nasty things start to pop up. One, day-to-day basic life becomes painful. It becomes suffering. Being bored is now painful and suffering. So you must get out of this state, no matter what. And because in our society, because we define our lives and how well we're living them based on happiness, which is again misdefined, we feel that we are not living life correctly if we're in this normal state. This is not good. People go to therapy, people go in support groups, they do everything they can to get out of the state because this right here, just living a day-to-day life is unbearable. If a person's sitting around bored in their studio apartment, this is suddenly very bad. And because in our society, everything we feel is extremely important. Everything that happens right here or right here is extremely important. These high feelings right here, incredibly important. These low feelings right here, incredibly important. None of them are fucking important. The default state of life, the default state of how you're going to be and exist for the rest of your life is going to be like this. You're going to have states where you're low, you're going to have states where you're high. And I'm going to give you a cliff note on what the true definition of happiness actually is. It's not suffering or being chronically stressed or having to deal with bad things throughout these states. It's being able to wake up and your body feels good, you're financially good, you're mentally good, your family and everybody's good, you're okay, you're fine. You're in a normal state of mind without the world being on fire. That's what happiness is, and that's the happiest you can ever expect out of life. Because I don't care if you're a billionaire, I don't care if you're living in the Playboy Mansion, banging every chick in there, I don't care whatever hentai, World of Warcraft fantasy you motherfuckers are looking for. I don't care. You're going to experience this. Whether you are crippled or a billionaire, your life is going to be these waves right here. But because people value their emotions so fucking much, every single one of these waves up here and right here is incredibly important. And they're constantly trying to get themselves up here and get away from right here when this is just the normal state of life. And because they try to get up here constantly and they can't accept just being in this normal range right here, they end up going 10 times lower because what they then inflict on themselves is pain and suffering on top of this normal life experience that they find unbearable in the first place. And then you stack failure, you stack being fat, you stack being ugly, you stack being tired and unhealthy all the time. You stack all the other things that come from short-term bad behavior to make yourself happy, and then suddenly you actually live a very bad life. Let's take happiness out of the equation. You never get to even just be normal. You are constantly in a state of pain and suffering, trying deeply to get out of this hole back up to here. And the only way you can do that is with unimaginable manipulation of your brain and the chemicals inside of it. And here's where everything starts to get really fucked up. Because in our society, again, we define happiness as the most important thing and our emotions as the most important thing. Your emotions are literally an organ in your head shitting chemicals on your brain telling you whether something is good or bad. Like you can know whether something's really good or bad based on all the conclusions you can draw from in your life experiences and logic. But sometimes good things don't seem good. Like going to the gym and working out. It doesn't seem that good all the time. Sometimes doing something like your taxes so you don't end up in jail doesn't feel good, but it is the good thing to do. So, frankly, that organ in your head really has no concept of what good or bad is. It looks at little codes and things that are happening around you and uses its lizard brain to inject chemicals in your brain to tell you whether something is good or bad in its opinion, which is completely fucking retarded and based on something 5,000 years ago. So we're valuing this retarded ass opinion on what's good or bad and then using that to justify how we are living our life. And so what most people do is because they judge happiness as the most important thing and their emotions are the most important thing. All these people go into therapy, all these people walking around doing all these bad habits. Why are they doing all these things? Because they want to live a little. They want to live life a little. When you tell someone to stop drinking, like, hey dude, you want to be successful, maybe go and stop getting fucking wasted every weekend. Yeah, but you got to live life as well. What they're really saying is I'm doing this thing so I can be happy. Like, because the point of living is to be happy. So I got to balance like work with happiness. Ooh. If you replace the word happiness with euphoria, what did we just do? Hey, I have to be euphoric. I'm trying to do all these things so I can be euphoric all the time. And this entire chase of euphoria is then what makes us go deeper in the hole and makes the default life, which people find unbearable, aka being bored or not being euphoric all the time, that adds another layer of fun to it, which is pain and suffering. And then when people repeat these actions to be happy, they end up going down a slide of pain and suffering on top of everything else they're looking to avoid. Let me explain. So, if you look around our society, we just got fat fucking whales of people running around everywhere. Just fucking Teletubbies running around, shoving stuff in their mouth, just shitting out fire. Their buttholes, their stomach, their face, everything's just on fire all the time. Just terrible life experience. And they do all these things they know are bad for them. But why would people keep doing something that's bad for them? Because happiness fucking matters. Which is not really happiness, it's euphoria. Let's look at a few things that people do that is really fucking stupid. They go and eat cake. This is cake, by the way. They go and play video games. This is video games, by the way. They go and drink. They avoid work. They sit around social media all day. They do all these things. And we all know these are bad. So why do people do them if they make your life actively worse? Like, all these things come with massive consequences, and we all know them now. There's no like playing dumb anymore. You can sit around, you see people smoking cigarettes all the time. Why are they smoking cigarettes even though they know all the terrible things that come with it? You do all these things, your brain declines, you are distracted, you feel like crap, you do less well with opposite sex, you're not motivated, you feel terrible all the time, you get fat, you get deformed, like your body literally changes in deformity. Yes, being fat is deformed. It's not something that naturally occurs. It's when you shove so much fucking food in your face that your body actively becomes deformed. You didn't see cavemen. You didn't see fucking thick-ass cavemen running through the woods back in the day with their badonkadonks running around, all thick as fuck. It doesn't happen to a normal human body. It only comes through aggressive mistreatment of your body. Like if you punch yourself 15 times in the face and your face is all fucked up afterwards, same exact thing. Regardless, I think you guys know my opinion on fats. Why do people do these things then? It's because happiness is incredibly, incredibly fucking important, which is actually euphoria. So why do we go and eat a cake? Why do we go eat cake? Well, the cake, what it actually does is it makes your brain, that fucking retarded thing in your head that can't tell its ass from its dick, it makes it go, wow, awesome. And it showers it with tons of chemicals because all this stuff in it is unnaturally sweet. It's something you'd never be able to find in nature. Why do you love playing video games more than work? Oh, it's because the video game is literally rigged to touch every button in your little monkey brain to make it go haywire and dump chemicals in your brain. Why is getting drunk with people you don't know, that you don't talk to when you're sober, and you're never going to talk to in a couple years if you stop drinking, and you don't even like to talk to normally, why is it so much fun hanging out with them? Oh yeah, it's because your brain is dumping every single chemical it can possibly get all at once because alcohol's hitting your brain. It's the way with every single bad habit that destroys people and slows them down. And the problem is people think this is what happiness is. They confuse happiness with chemicals being poured on their brain. I'm playing World of Warcraft right now, and I've played it. It's a ton of fucking fun. I'm happy, which is really my brain and every sensor in my brain firing off and dumping chemicals on my mind, telling me that I'm being productive with my life. Now, is that what happiness is? I don't want to dig down that path, because at that point, we could just say doing heroin 24/7 is happiness. So let's back up and make a more or less confusing definition. Let's define happiness with having a good life that is not stressful and you achieve the things you want to do, regardless of what they are. It doesn't have to be money, anything. You're just not stressed, you're good most of the time, nothing bad is happening, and you can manage your life very functionally and well. Let's define happiness as getting everything you want. Good health, money, losing your virginity. I know that's a lot of you guys on this channel, all those things right there. Let's define it as that. By the definition of that, doing these things right here separates you from happiness. But again, most people's definition of happiness is chemicals being poured on their brain or some height of euphoria that you can't achieve. And the reason why our lives go to shit because of this is because we define our lives by our happiness, and our happiness is actually euphoria, and this euphoria is at such an unimaginably high level of stimulation to our brains and manipulation that there's no way we can ever recreate it, ever. You can't be chronically happy all the time. You can't be chronically euphoric all the time. You can't have your first kiss or see Star Wars for the first time every single damn day. You just can't. And it's okay. And most of the pain and suffering we have comes from the fact that we think it's not okay. And then we think that we have to constantly fix it. And the only way you can really get these levels of euphoria consistently is through short-term things that really mess up your life. If you go practice jujitsu, the most euphoric moment you're going to have is when you win a competition or you do something really special, you get like your next belt up. Most of the time, it's going to be really boring if you're getting good at it and you're achieving what you want to do. Same thing with guitar, same thing with everything else. And it's the fact that you think that everything has to be that euphoric moment that you stop getting all those things that you actually want to do. And the reason why, again, people then end up ruining everything in their life and separating themselves from the things they actually want to do is because they think happiness, aka being euphoric all the time, is the most important thing. And they can't just sit in their fucking bedroom and do nothing. They can't go on a walk. They can't be without their phone. They have to eat cake. And when you tell them not to do it, they say, well, I want to live a little and it's more important to me that I want to live life. No, you just can't stop fucking masturbating in every sense of the word. Even if your hand's off your dick, you can't stop putting cake in your mouth, masturbating. You can't stop drinking, masturbating. You can't stop manipulating your body for your own pleasure, regardless of the fucking consequences. And this is why, if you're chronically unhappy all the time or suffering, just like everybody else is, this is why. Because you think it is a massive problem to not be happy all the time. Here's the fucking truth. Most of your life, like I said, you're just going to be fine. You're going to be okay. You're going to have ups and downs. If you look at a person who's crippled, for example, their baseline of happiness or how good they feel all the time goes exactly back to the same point it was when they had legs. It takes a few months, but most of the time, they go back to the same exact levels. So you can become a billionaire. You can do anything you want. You're not going to escape that pattern of happiness. It doesn't matter. There's nowhere for you to go. You have no point of happy. There's no point in your life where you're going to do everything you want to do, and then suddenly you could just sit in a room and be okay with yourself, and everything's going to be great. It's not going to happen. The end. You're stuck. There's nowhere for you to go. The only place for you to go is to not go somewhere bad, which is pain, suffering through a mismanaged life. And the reason why people mismanage their life is because they're trying to always be up here. And they think it's a problem when they're just right here in this normal place, which is inevitably where you're always going to be at. So let's wrap this up. I told you at the beginning of this video that I would tell you how to not be unhappy all the time. Here's how. Just be okay being fine. You're fine. You're not near your phone. You're not out having fun. You're not doing fun stuff. It's fine. Stop fighting it. It's okay. It's all right. You're good now. Congratulations. You don't have to fix fucking anything. Next, I told you this would make you more successful. Guess what you can do if you just accept being fine and you don't have to be euphoric all the time, if you don't have to be having the best weekend of your life every weekend. If life doesn't have to be as good, you stop saying, the peak of my life was playing World of Warcraft or some huge dopamine addicting thing, going to Vegas or whatever. For example, I used to think, oh man, I'm going to work a few months and then I'm going to really go be happy in Vegas and party. Or I'm going to work for 8 hours and then I'm going to do what actually makes me happy and play some World of Warcraft. I'm sure we've all been there in some shape or form. And we think we're going to suffer and then do what really makes us happy, when really the bar of happiness is just this euphoria. And what we're doing already is fine. And if we stop fighting it, we could just do more of it. And if you do more of those things without A, chronically punishing yourself and making yourself suffer for just being fine, which is what everybody does, and then B, resorting to short-term things that separate you and drag you away from that and make your life worse, they take you out of that normal state you're at and then drag you down the hell with it. Tell you what, I'm going to tell you one way you're going to be actually unhappy by the euphoric definition of the word. If you're a fat, unsuccessful fuck who has the mental stability and skill set of a retarded baby koala, that's going to make you unhappy. I don't care what definition the word is. You might as well just go punch yourself in the dick. That's what it's going to feel like your entire life. And the only way to get there is if you're constantly trying to be fucking happy. Guess what? If you're not trying to be happy all the time and euphoric, you won't do all this short-term shit because it doesn't matter. Because, it's just you poking a button and masturbating. It's the same exact thing as grabbing your dick and going and watching the closest thing that resembles a woman. I know you Gen Z guys are getting pretty creative what you jack off to on the internet these days, but it's all the same exact thing. It's just manipulating your brain to make yourself happy. And if you stop punishing yourself for those things, guess what? You're going to be good all the time. So you don't even have to become even more successful if you don't want. It's not going to change anything. But say you want to decide to make your life more about goals and achieving the things you say you're going to do and like getting the things that you want. It's going to make it 10 times easier to go get those things you want because you can just sit there and be like, hey, I'm kind of bored. And that's fine. Like, it's okay. Like, you're okay. As long as someone's not trying to stab you or put you in jail or your house isn't on, like, everything's fine. Like, it's fine. There's no scorecard being kept where if, like, you don't do certain things or whatever, someone's going to punch you in the dick when you die. You're just going to forget literally everything when you die. And it's all fine. Like, just chill. It's not that important. Then you can just sit there and do the thing. And then when, like, you're like, oh, but I'm not happy, you can do something that nobody else does, or just say, that's fine. Instead of like every other fat, stupid fuck in our society who gets on Instagram, like, oh, I gotta look at butts and boobs and then shove a cake in my mouth and then go wake up the next day and wonder why you work a dead-end job, you don't make much money, you look like a foot so you never get laid, and you got this sack of fat that's gradually growing over your belt like every other dude past the age of 35. So, that's the video. Stop trying to be happy. Just be okay. Being fine. It's fucking fine.